What's going on, Colts Nation? So, Indianapolis Colts have definitely taken a little bit different of an approach to free agency this year, and it's exciting. But I think some of the signings are a little bit overhyped, to be honest with you. I mean, they're really good, they're awesome, I like them, but it's just because we haven't seen anything like this happen in so long with the Colts in terms of going out, being aggressive, and going to sign players out of house and put big money on other names. It's exciting, but and don't get me wrong, the signings are absolutely wonderful. They're great. They're very good, but are they a level? No, I don't think so. I think they're still really good for certain reasons, as we're going to go through today. So first off, we're going to start with the departures from the Indianapolis Colts offseason. You had um, you lost Kelly and you lost Fries. Those are really the big ones that I'm going to talk about. Fries in Minnesota, it hurts, but at the same time, it's nice to see Kelly go somewhere else and get an opportunity somewhere else to see what we could do somewhere else. It does suck that he's gonna go somewhere else, but it's seeming like what Tanner Bortolini is gonna be the guy to step up for Kelly. Hopefully, he can step up in a big way, be pretty good. But Will Fries also going. That's huge. He was paid like $18.5 million a year over 5 years, I believe it was. It was a pretty big contract. So it's tough to see Will Fries go, but at the end of the day, we can't afford to be paying that much money to the offensive line, to the guards. We're already paying a lot to Quentin Nelson. I think we're paying $20 a year to Quentin Nelson. If not, we're close to that. You really want to pay another guard? You really want to pay $40 million a year for guards? No, I don't think so. Even though they're very good, and Will Fry is really he had a really good start to the season, had that injury, big injury. So we're going to see, the Vikings are really paying for that potential. Not sure if he's really going to be that impressive over there, that good, but I'm sure he will. He has developed nicely in Indy. And then you have Ryan Kelly, who's going to provide an immediate, not just like a playing factor to him, not just a boost to him, but that entire offensive line and entire team. He is a class act in the locker room. He's a class act on the field. He's a great football player. So they're not only getting a great football player, they're getting a great mentor. They're getting great leadership, a great locker room guy, a great communicator. When he sees something on the offense line, he's going to communicate. If he sees something on the defense, he's going to communicate it. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he sees, and he's going to help the rest of that offense line in a huge way there, and they will see that. That's a huge pickup for Minnesota. I would even argue that Ryan Kelly is a bigger pickup, even though they paid more to Will Fries, and that's definitely the more highlighted pickup. But that's going to help the rest of the offensive line. That's going to help their entire offensive line. It's going to help their run game. It's going to help pass protect for J.J. McCarthy. I don't think J.J. McCarthy is a future, but nonetheless, they're giving J.J. McCarthy no excuses to go out there, do the best. He had a year off. He was injured, so that kind of sucks. But good pickups for Minnesota, and Kelly was a phenomenal pickup. It sucks to see him go. So that's going to definitely affect our offensive line at the beginning of next year. I think to start the year, the Colts are going to have a pretty slow start to the year, offensive line-wise. I would not be shocked if the offensive line plays really poor to begin the year. I mean, you have a whole new face at center, a whole new communicator, and, you have two major pieces in that offensive line left. And sometimes people don't understand it takes a little while for offensive linemen to get used to each other. It takes them a while, to get in, live game, I'm not sure we call it shape, in terms of communicating, knowing who is who and knowing what they like to do. Just getting to know each other and playing together and finding that connection. That takes time. But once that is built, it's good, but we'll see, because Tanner Bortolini, big change at center, man. And he did sit behind Ryan Kelly for a while. He did play a little bit last year and looked pretty good. And then it's looking like it might be Matt Goncalves or the other kid, the Dalton kid. We might see him step up the guard as well. So we'll see. The offense line is definitely going to be not as good in the beginning of the year. It can maybe develop and be good by the end of the year. But don't expect the offense line to be great right away. That's going to take some time with the new center at center. So next up, we're going to talk about the guys that the Colts brought in. So Neville Gallimore, 1-year deal. Don't really have the details of the money here. I didn't see it on Spot Track, but it was a good bring in, good depth. I mean, he had a really good playoff performance. In the playoffs, you play the best of the best. You play the best teams, and he did very good. The rest of his career has been all right. He has had some really good stretches. He has had some flashes, but he's about 28 years old, so he's not really going to, make. I mean, you never know. Maybe he can make that weird leap this far into his career and be a good player. I mean, he's still a good player, but he's going to be a great player. He's going to take the next step, that go to that next level. Probably not, but he's going to provide depth because we've seen how bad the Colts' depth is at defensive tackle once Buckner goes down or once Grove goes down. We usually struggle to fill that void. But they're both really high-end level players. They're both really good players. You don't expect who's going to come in and step in for them going to be at their level or close to it, but you at least want them to be competent, at least hold their own. And the Colts have struggled with that behind DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart for quite some time now. They've struggled to find competition for depth. They struggled to find some good depth pieces. Taven Bryan was all right, but other than that, when one of those guys go out, you see a major drop off. You don't want to see that steep of a drop off. You're going to, because Buck and Grove are that good, but you want someone that can at least hold their own. So Neville Gallimore, I think, is a fun, little depth, maybe upside signing. So I'll give that one a B because that depth is very important. So I thought that was a pretty good signing. Not going to knock your socks off. But next up, we're going to talk about Khalil Herbert, running back from, he played for the Bengals last year, was drafted. The Bears drafted him. He was pretty good with the Bears, and there were some really good flashes, really nice flashes with the Bears. I mean, he had some really good seasons. One season ran for over 700 yards. Other two, I believe, was like 4 or more 100 yards. One was 500 or more. I mean, he has had a lot of really good seasons under the belt. He knows he's smooth with his feet. I think he's got some pretty good vision. Fumbles is something I would look at. It seems like the more time has went on, he's fumbled quite a bit, but I mean, it is what it is. He's going to be a backup to Jonathan Taylor. I think he's going to be running back too. This kind of confirms that the Colts are not going to be looking at a running back within the, first day or two. They may look at a running back later in the draft, maybe, day 3, maybe late day 2. But you never know. Maybe they're looking at another guy higher to bring in for more competition, bring 3 really good backs in the room. I mean, we know Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen like the running backs, and they're going to bring in a good amount of running backs, a lot of competition as well. So I think he is a really good signing. Khalil Herbert is an awesome signing. I think he's a really good running back too. And we saw when he had it was a really run-friendly type of team and situation for Khalil Herbert in Chicago. And Cincinnati, it really was. And the offensive line isn't as good. You do have the passing game that can help try and open up the run game. Just not enough when you don't have a good offensive line, and but you give Khalil Herbert a good situation. Even though the Colts do have a bit of a turnover, we'll see how the interior of the Colts offensive line is. I think it's going to struggle a little bit early in the season, like I mentioned. Just guys a little experience, trying to form that connection with the other guys in the line. I think the beginning of the season is going to be rough. It might be a little rough the first 1 or 2 games, and it's going to get better as the year goes on. Trust me. But in the beginning of the year, it's going to be rough. Khalil Herbert, the good situation, whether it's Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson starting, do 100% believe it's going to be Daniel Jones. It's still Daniel Jones still provides a threat on the ground with his legs, not as much as they are, but he still provides a decent threat. And the Colts are a good run team. They know how to you have Jonathan Taylor who's gonna who can help coach him up a little bit too. Khalil Herbert is an awesome running back 2 option. He could catch the ball pretty well. He could run the ball really good. This is a phenomenal signing. I'm going to give this signing an A. I really like this signing. Chris Ballard and the Colts, the organization did a pretty good job with this one. I really like this signing. He's really going to bring in some electric play behind Jonathan Taylor, so Jonathan Taylor could lessen the load on Jonathan Taylor a little bit. And then you have Corey Ballantyne, cornerback. He's played for quite a few teams. He's bounced around the league. He's just really a depth piece we're going to bring in for Julius Brents and Jalen Jones. I think Jalen Jones should be cornerback 2 next year. I don't think Julius Brents should be. I think Julius Brents could probably try and push him out. He may be cut, in the offseason, training camp cuts. He may be one of the cuts. He may surprise a little bit and be a cut. Hasn't really been good. Has really struggled to stay healthy. But yeah, I mean, the cornerback room is just really signing him to bring in competition, which is good. I like that. Still just going to get a C from me. He's bounced around to a lot of teams. He filled in for Jair Alexander a bit last year when he was hurt. He did okay. I mean, he's a depth piece for a reason. He's been around the league for a reason, and there is a really good reason for that. But I mean, he's an all right competition to depth like Jalen. I think Jalen Jones is going to be cornerback 2. To be honest with you, Charvarious Ward is obviously going to be cornerback 1. Then you have Kenny in the slot, but Valentine could come in and provide some competition to guys like Julius Brents. I believe we just let go Chris Lamons when we brought I think when we brought Ballantyne in, I think we might have let Lemons go, or it might have been someone else that we kept and then let. I'm not 100% sure, but Lemons one's let go. But we also re-signed someone, and I'm blanking on him too. I'm blanking on a couple guys right now, but we had some corner. I think it's not Womack. It wasn't Womack. It was the other guy. But he came in, stepped in, and he looked all right. But he's a depth piece. He's not a starter, as most of the guys were prior to some of the signings we made. But the Corey Ballantyne signing, I'm going to give that a C. And then for Daniel Jones, let's go. No, let's save Daniel Jones for last. Let's go to Charvarious Ward. I really like that signing. We needed help in the cornerback room in the biggest of ways. I mean, I guess we could talk about Ward and Bynum and in the same sense. You had the same grade for them at a B. So good signings. I don't have them as A or A plus, but it is a really good signing for the Colts. You needed secondary help in the worst way. Bynum brings an awesome energy. Him and Kenny Moore are gonna have some awesome celebrations. I've heard he has some cool celebrations. He brings a lot of energy to the room, to the team, and to the locker room, which is great. We need that. And Charvarious Ward, both of these guys have really high character. And think about it, where they were before this. Both played in really good defenses and good systems. And I would really want to mention Cameron Bynum here in that sense, because he played in a system that's very hard to play in Brian Flores' system. It's very difficult to play in Brian Flores' system. You have to be versatile. You have to be really smart, as you have to be smart and play in any defense. But, I mean, Cameron Bynum, I think he's going to bring a really good punch to that safety room, good tackler, all right in coverage. But I'm excited for Bynum. Much needed help in the secondary, as long as with Charvarious Ward. Happy to bring him in. Charvarious Ward is 29 years old, so he's going to be hitting 30 pretty soon, but 3-year contract. Let's say the contract for Charvarious Ward is 3-year, $54 million. Pretty good. The first year, I don't think we owe him barely anything. It's very, very low amount, but it goes up as the years go on. But nonetheless, very good pickup. He's going to be cornerback 1, which just completely changes our defense, because now that we have that cornerback 1 in there, I mean, you have other guys like Jalen Jones, Julius Brents, Corey Ballantyne. These guys are going to fight for that cornerback 2 spot. Samuel Womack. These guys are going to fight for that cornerback 2 spot, and it's only going to make all these guys better. So whoever starts, it's going to be a really good situation for them. I think it's going to be Jalen Jones. I think Jalen Jones I don't think he's great. He definitely lets up a lot of yards, but he's aggressive. You kind of, there's no, sometimes you got to sacrifice other things if you want a ball hawk. Jalen Jones, I think he'll start cornerback 2. I think he's an all right cornerback 2. So bring him in for cornerback. Nonetheless, when you have that number 1 corner down, and then we have Kenny Moore patrolling the slot, I mean, that cornerback 2, it's, someone that should be a cornerback 2 will be there instead of cornerback 1, if you know what I mean. Like, Jalen Jones was like cornerback 1 most of the year last year, which is, I mean, don't get me wrong. Jalen Jones had some flashes and had some good plays, and I think that's why I like him at cornerback 2. He's very aggressive, sometimes for better or worse, but he gets a lot of bat downs, a lot of pass deflections, PBUs, a lot of that kind of stuff. And like I said, he's ball hawk. He's aggressive. He's fun for cornerback 2. Cornerback 1, not too much. So that drastically helps the cornerback room. The boundaries, you really have only somewhat of a question mark on 1 boundary in cornerback 2. And then Cameron Bynum, like I said, talking about him, he's going to bring in some really good safety play for us. I would have rather Javon Holland. Javon Holland, I thought was. I would just rather Javon Holland. He's a ball hawk as well. Don't get me wrong, Cameron Bynum, fun signing, very good, and Charvarious Ward, very good, and going to add to this Colts secondary and make the Colts secondary somewhat competent for the first time in a couple of years, which is exciting, because the defensive line is all right. I think they struggled at times last year, but I think Latu will take a step up this year. And if we get Trey Hendrickson, the defense line, if fully healthy, can be really nasty and really scary to deal with. We do have some good depth pieces in there. We did lose Deo, but we're not paying $18 what the Bears paid for him, so losing him wasn't a huge issue, if you ask me. So to be honest with you, I mean, pretty good. They're good signings, man. I mean, I think the defense line is going to be pretty good next year. I really do. Whether we get Trey Hendrickson or not, I don't think we are going to get Trey Hendrickson. But if we do, awesome. That's going to make us even better. I think Kwity Paye is going to take a step up in Lou's system. It's just a feeling. We've seen players go into Lou's system and find a way to be much better than they were previously. I think Lou will be able to get the best out of Kwity Paye. And if Lou can't, then Kwity Paye is Kwity Paye. But I really think that Kwity Paye is going to take a step up this year. I really think so. I really think under Lou's system, under Lou's leadership, Kwity's going to come up, and I really think that Kwity's going to have a good year. I really think so. Keep an eye out for Kwity Paye. And then last but not least, I want to talk about this Daniel Jones signing. I love this signing. A lot of Colts fans don't like it. A lot do like it. I love it. And believe it or not, I put an A on this signing. You're bringing competition to Anthony Richardson, okay? He has experience. He's a true leader. And to be honest with you, I really think Daniel Jones has already won the competition. I mean, Daniel Jones is going to come in, and this is all business for him. Daniel Jones' job is to put Anthony Richardson's butt on that bench and not let him get off the bench unless Daniel Jones gets hurt. That's one thing I will bring up about Daniel Jones that I bring up about AR a lot is injury concerns. Daniel Jones has been injured, has had quite a few injuries, and there are no slouches of injuries. Some of them are pretty bad, pretty serious. But we will see. We'll see how training camp goes. Both of our quarterbacks, whoever's going to be starter, whoever's going to be the backup, both have injury concerns, which is concerning, to say the least. But I think Daniel Jones, he's not going to get hit as much, and this is going to be the best offensive line he has ever had in his career. He's got really good weapons. Josh Downs is awesome. Daniel Jones has a nice deep ball, and I think Alec Pierce is going to benefit tremendously from Daniel Jones and Pittman as well. Having a guy that knows how to read a defense, having a guy that can look at a defense and say, with the experience that he has, and he knows what the defense is going to do. I will say Daniel Jones maybe isn't the fastest processor, but I do like Daniel Jones. I do think, with the experience, he's a leader. It was a business decision for him to pick Indianapolis. He picked Indianapolis because he knew that he could and will win the starting quarterback job, and he's going to get a second opportunity in new stadium, new scenery, a fresh start for Daniel Jones. Really good head coach. I mean, if you look at the Colts last year, man, Anthony Richardson having a really hard time completing half of his passes, yet the Colts were still competent, still a pretty good offense, still moving the ball. If we get a competent quarterback in there that can complete 60+% of his passes, let Josh Downs, let Alec Pierce, I think AD Mitchell, I think he could come into his own this year. And then if you get Tyler Warren in there and Jelani Wood stays healthy, you have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, you have Khalil Herbert. I mean, you could go on and on and on about what the Colts have. If you could get a competent quarterback in there, if Daniel Jones can be competent, this offense is capable of being a very good offense. It really is. Have a lot of really good pieces, a lot of really dynamic weapons. Taylor, one of the best running backs in the league. Pittman is a guy that could just go up and catch the ball. He could dunk on people. He really good contested catch receiver. Pierce, deep threat. Downs, your underneath can still be a deep threat. You have AD Mitchell, superstar playmaker, great after the catch like Downs. This wide receiver room complements each other so freaking well, and I think this is the best wide receiver room you can say that we've had since like T.Y. and Reggie, even like Marvin and Reggie. Like, I'm not saying it's that good, no way. All right, but this receiver room is very good. All around, they're very good. We may not have that top 10 receiver or top 15 even, but we have receivers that complement each other so well, and they all make big plays. Defenses can't just pick one and focus on him. You have to focus on every single one of these guys because they all play different. They all have different play styles. They all play really good in their own ways. And if you could bring in a tight end that could stay healthy, that can help the offensive line with run blocking, and on top of that, provide a reliable target in the middle of the field, it's only going to open things up for the guys on the outside. Guys, I'm telling you right now, you are going to like Daniel Jones. I get it. He's had a couple bad years with the Giants, but there's a lot of turmoil over there, a lot of turnover. They haven't been a great franchise. The Colts have been a very mediocre franchise on their own, but the Giants have been very dysfunctional in a lot of ways. But this is by far and away the best coaching staff, and I think the best team that Daniel Jones has to work with. And the defense, if the defense can hold their own, I think the Colts can win the division this year. I genuinely think so. I think the Texans and the Colts are going to fight. The Titans could be a wild card in there. I don't think the Jaguars are really going to be in that conversation. I'm telling you right now, if Daniel Jones can be competent, things go well, we don't have too many injuries, the Colts can be a really good team this upcoming year. And I really think that Chris Ballard did a very good job this year. Chris Ballard, I really like the signings. I don't think they're as great as everyone's saying they are, but they are very, very good. And they filled positions and they filled needs. And now we could go into the draft and just build on what we already have. If we draft a cornerback in the first round and he could show up somewhat decently, imagine having two really good cornerbacks, Kenny in the slot, Bynum and Cross up top, and then linebackers. I think I really like Zaire Franklin. He may have a big mouth on him sometimes, but I like Zaire. I like Segun Alubi. I think he'd be very good if we could pick up a linebacker in the draft. We could, and I'm not worried about offensive line because Chris Ballard can even, he has a really good eye for talent, in the draft for offensive line. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to look forward to. There really is. And if Daniel Jones can be competent, if Daniel Jones can be a good, decent quarterback, he doesn't have to come in here and light the building on fire. He doesn't have to burn the place down. But he can come in here and he can be a competent quarterback, maybe be a higher-end game manager, maybe borderline really damn good quarterback, and bring the Colts to the playoffs. I'm confident, the Colts can make the playoffs this year. That's going to be my bold prediction right now. I'm going to say the Colts are going to make the playoffs in the 2025 NFL season. Going to say it. Not a homer. Not talking my team up. The Colts legitimately have some really good pieces. And if they could get a decent quarterback, a lot of people are going to complain about Shane Steichen. A lot of people don't like Shane Steichen, but Lou, I just went complete. Okay, Shane Steichen, stick with one at a time. Shane Steichen is a very good head coach. We'll talk about that more in another video. In another video, stay tuned. Lou Anarumo, he knows how to call defenses against the best offenses in the league. I'm not saying the Colts are a Super Bowl contender. I'm not saying that by any means. But I'm saying that the Colts can be a solid football team next year that could be a pain in the neck to some of the better teams in the AFC. They genuinely could. Honestly. Not just saying that because I'm a Colts fan. If you guys have followed me, you guys know how critical and how harsh I am on this team and the Colts. I love the Colts, but I'm gonna be, I'm not gonna, I like to be optimistic, but I like to be realistic even more. So, realistically, this is the best Colts team that the Colts have had in quite some time. I really think so. As long as, most of our playmakers could stay healthy. We have a head coach that can keep people accountable, that can, call up a good game plan. And like I was saying with the defense coordinator, Lou can make things work. We spent a lot of money for Lou. Bengals never did that for Lou. He's got some good safeties to work with. Maybe we draft another one in the draft like Starks or Watts or one of those guys. But I'm telling you right now, Colts have a bright season ahead of them. I don't know about future, past the season, but and we still have the draft yet. We still have a mid-round pick. I'm telling you right now, this Colts team is decent. It is a decent Colts team. And I will say Chris Ballard, I want to give it an A just because of Daniel Jones. I gave it a C. Neville Gallimore probably gets a C. I'm not going to go C+, I'm going to go with C+ for Neville Gallimore. Karen Bynum and Charvarious Ward get B's. Daniel Jones, I'm going A+ for Daniel Jones. I love that signing. There's just so much to look forward to this year. There are question marks on some places, like Kelly and Fry's leaving, But if there's anyone I trust developing, finding out, offensive linemen to maybe not be as good as them. I mean, heck, Fries was drafted in the 6th or 7th round. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about it. And it's not like Chris Ballard hasn't prepared for Kelly leaving or Fries leaving. He drafted guys a couple years ago. Tanner Borlini, Gonkovs. He's gotten ready for this moment. I'll be honest with you. I think Chris Ballard has redeemed himself to me. I like Chris Ballard right now. And now it is very recency bias, but I like Chris Ballard right now. Really do. I think he's done a pretty good job right now. For what he has had to deal with, let's just pack up Anthony Richardson and send him out the door. Okay, and move on with it. Okay? But for now, that's all I have to say. Keep going on about the same things over and over again, but I'm getting excited here just talking about it because I'm actually excited for the Colts this year. I'm excited. We have a quarterback that can be competent, a true leader with Daniel Jones. Just pack up Anthony Richardson's suitcase and send him on his way and move on. No need to have him in the room. Wouldn't it be wild if the Colts cut him during, off-season cuts? Right before the season starts, cut AR, that's it. Straight up, gone. Would not mind it one bit. But, all right. 26 and a half minutes. I spent quite a bit of time on this video. Going to head out of here. There's a lot of topics that I hinted at I want to talk about in the future, and we will. Thank you for joining the Horseshoe Hustle today, and my little nickname for our new segment, the Horseshoe Hustle for the Colts. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. It's JDW Sports Talk Show. And if you enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos, anything like that. Make sure to let me know what you think about this free agency. Are you mad that we let Kelly? I would have liked at least Kelly to stay. I would have paid him to stay a decent amount of money, but Colts decision, that's okay. But yeah, free agency, offseason grade total, I'd probably give it a B- or a B. Pretty good free agency. I'm happy. So, hey, one day at a time. Let's enjoy this offseason. Let's enjoy this free agency period for first time in Chris Ballard's tenure. He's gone crazy in free agency, which is awesome. It's a nice little change up and actually filling positions of need with good players. Good stuff, Chris Ballard. I'm happy with you right now. Keep it that way. I'll catch you guys later. Make sure you like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on. Great place to be. Horseshoe Huddle.